Are you catching Pokemon on my set? How dare you! There's some like right here.
There's one each. Because that's the one thing that life has taught me, like nothing ever works out. Like I planned so many things and nothing ever ended up that way.
Maybe you're just a failure.
And cut. And that's a wrap.
Welcome back to XOXO Christine. I love coffee dates because I actually get to interact and talk with other people, let alone my friends. Today's episode is extra special to me because of my special guest. She is someone who I can honestly say is my soul sister. She and I have connected on so many levels and unexpectedly too. So here is Regina! Yay! Yes! Yay! I mean, I got yachts from her, so you can thank Regina for the yachts.
I was the one who introduced it to everyone.
Regina and I go way back to when Wong Fu
was a budding flower.
Regina was Wong Fu's first employee, assistant, helper, basically.
Intern.
Yeah,
like
intern,
a
right?
little bit of everything, yeah.
We were at the office. Like I was there like every day, and then you still had school.
Yeah, I'd still at school, and like we'd be on shoots together, and we were the only girls at the office. And like we had a weird budding romance, I would say, where we just started looking at each other with creepy faces across the set, and like I was sold. From that moment on, I was like, this is a special friendship.
Yeah, so I really just want to get into how, because we both grew up in Arcadia, because it's a predominantly Asian community, and you're brought up, there's a lot of expectations of you as a student, as someone's daughter, someone's son, and just wanting the best for your future. And you're in an environment where everybody else is pushed to become the best version of themselves. So like people are going to after school like tutoring and activities and trying to like beef up their college applications so they can get into like Harvard and Stanford. There were a lot of expectations that I couldn't meet. I was a very average student. An average.
If you were average, I don't know, I might have been below average.
No, but like especially in that community of people, everyone was operating on this level, and I had to work that much harder just to keep up with it.
I remember like visiting my friends, like there were a couple honors classes that I took, but like not as much as like some of my other friends. So I'd like meet up with them after their honors classes. I remember like the look on everyone's face after they took an exam. They'd all huddle, and it looked like a football huddle. And they'd all be like, oh my gosh, what'd you put for number 7? Oh, I put number 4, I put 4. No, it's 3. And like they were arguing about what the answer was of the test that they just took.
Arcadia.
Like that was I feel like that just like defines what Arcadia was.
Yeah, because you had to be 100%, 110% all the time.
Yeah.
And I got into Cal State versus a university or
I mean, like I went to a school that also did not have like great prestige, and I was really self-conscious about that.
Yeah.
I felt like I was always making excuses for what my future was, you know, like I was making excuses. I was like, oh well, you know, it's a private school and it's close to home, and I can just transfer out whenever I wanted to. I always felt like I had to kind of put up a front because I was not going to, you know, UCLA, Harvard, Dartmouth, whatever, you know.
Yeah, because your worth is judged by what college you get into at the time, because from then on, then you're on track to become a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, to be successful, to make X amount of money, then to marry at a certain age and have kids at a certain age, and you're just on this path of what society defines as a success. Like I feel like our path of always like, you know,
like everyone is here and we're just kind of like this, like wandering. And like I feel like that was a really big insecurity of mine to have, just because I never took the traditional route for anything that I did. And even now, I'm still not taking the traditional route. You know, I'm pursuing media, and like I never fit into that stereotype of what it means to be like that little Asian girl. Like the little Asian girl who like is like really quiet and really cute and really sweet.
Doesn't say much.
Yeah, doesn't say much. I was like the loudest person. Everything I feel like that my parents had kind of set out for me was like a 180 direction. And it was hard for them to understand like why I wanted to do the things that I wanted to do. And my parents are both in the medical field. That was that was my path.
Right.
And that was what I was supposed to do. December of my senior year, I was graduating in 5 months. I had no plan. I panicked.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was, you were like 21?
Yeah. I was about 21.
And to be honest, I feel like that's very natural at that age. Because in college, you're supposed to have it all figured out. You're supposed to walk out with that like 50 to 75,000 starting like salary career with health benefits, etc. Like all the things that you think an adult should have, given 4 years of paying for college. That was part of the whole insecurity as a child to high school to college. I've always felt inadequate and not good enough because I was constantly like comparing myself to my peers. But really it stemmed from a place of being scared that I would fail. Like I would do my best and still fail. It's hard not to look at people around you and see all the things that they're doing.
Always feeling like you constantly are trying to prove yourself. I guess finding that balance between like doing your own thing for your own sake and for your own purposes, and like being happy for other people and like the paths that they chose.
Versus your ambitions being fueled by proving people wrong, just trying to prove to everyone that I can do this.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's empty.
It is. Like, I think that for a while I was like, oh, well, you know, they went to better schools or like they chose the more traditional path, but watch, like just wait and see. Yeah. And I felt like that was such an awful way to shape your future. Like to just have that built on like hatred and like jealousy and kind of like proving people wrong.
Well, because you're like living your life based off of other people's standards and definition. And at the end of the day, it is your life. And somewhere along the way of my development as a child, being a girl and being an average looking girl, it really affected the way I saw my worth. Like if you didn't look like this from the magazine or the popular girl from school. Seeing those women and girls made me feel like I wasn't worth as much. Like my time wasn't as valuable as hers. You know, because everyone wanted to be around these women or these girls that looked like that. More so than ever. Let's really get into like how social media nowadays, especially with Instagram, and everyone looks
the same.
Perfect.
Everyone looks the same. Everyone's framed perfectly. It's an unrealistic expectation that we're creating. Creating that perfect image of what your life should look like and what your life should be.
The idea of this perfect woman has become more and more intangible and unrealistic. And I feel pressure to always present a perfect image. A lot of the women that are depicted on even on YouTube, if it's scripted or they're perfect. They're
not a hair out of place.
Even the scripted stuff, like it's written from the male's perspective. And like what you and I have come to notice is that after a while, all these nice girls just start kind of fitting into the same box of, you know, being put on a pedestal or she's really pretty to look at, but she doesn't say anything. Like you don't know anything about her. Because you don't know her backstory, all you have to go off of like, oh, she's pretty.
And that's what all the comments are surrounded. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Like, oh my gosh, she looks so, you know, like everybody idealizes the looks over like the personality or what she has to say.
To me, it just felt like it'd be nice to know what are her dreams. You know, she's beyond just this face. And I'm not trying to knock or take anything away from like, you know, beautiful women, because I feel like beauty, there's so many definitions of beauty and everyone is beautiful in their own way. I can confidently say as a 30-year-old woman who has been a producer at, you know, one of the most notable content creators on YouTube, Wong Fu Productions, that I fully embrace that what I bring to the table is the voice of normal women. And I feel like that voice is missing in terms of scripted content. It's okay to not be this picture perfect-esque person. You know, growing up as a woman now, you actually, you know, you develop your own story, you find your own voice, and there's so much power in that, right? Because we both have come from a place of just feeling inadequate and not good enough.
I feel like this is a really monumental moment because I feel like both of us, as we've said, have felt very average our whole lives, but here we are kind of doing things that make us passionate and, you know, speaking up for ourselves.
And not feeling in a way that our voice is worth any less or should be silenced because we feel average. We all have our stories that, to be honest, someone will connect with, and that's the most important part. Like, I think that's really, if we to wrap up our friendship in a bow, it's like, oh my God, we both feel this way. You know, like I'm not alone. Therefore, I'm not so weird.
Yeah,
you know?
and I've like never felt that way with anyone else. Like in terms of, you know, we always talked about like how storytelling was something that made us passionate about media. Like there are so many negative things. It makes people feel insecure, it makes people feel not good enough. But I kind of refuse to let those things keep me down. And like I want to look at the good and like get more average stories out there, get more people their voices heard. Because I think the beautiful thing about media and the beautiful thing about a platform like YouTube is that people can bond over these things, and people can hear these stories and be like, oh my gosh, like I feel that way too, I'm not alone.
Yeah, it really is that I'm not alone. All the feels.
All the feels. All the feels.
Hashtag all the feels. So yay, thank you so much for being here,
Thank you so much for having me.
You flew all the way from New York to be here.
I did.
So if you want to follow Regina and myself, the links are down below. Definitely follow her because she's going to be doing some great things. I really, really love these episodes because I finally get to share these conversations that we always have, and I'm always like, we should have recorded it. So it's just a nice glimpse into our world.
Yeah, and our friendship.
Yay. I'll see you next week. Hugs and kisses. Bye. Goodbye. Lower voice. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay, now you can leave the set. You're done.
Okay.
And take your water with you.
I'm taking the mug with me.